Final Fantasy XIV has 19 combat jobs. Despite their differences, they have one thing in common: weapons. While the grind for some of them can lead you to mental counseling, some others needs no brain activities at all and looks good. In today's video, I am going to be covering 21 such weapons. Number 1. Marketboard Weapons, or more specifically, Extreme Trial Weapons from different expansions. While you can usually farm these for free by doing the extremes themselves, they can be quite challenging given your situations. All of the Extreme Trial Weapons or their glowy versions can be purchased on the Marketboard, with some being around 20k and others around 1 million gils. Some of my personal favorites include the Hades weapon lineup, the Suzaku weapons, and the Ruby weapon ones. Before you make any purchases, however, especially the bigger ones, make sure to double check across servers, since you may not only be able to grab one for yourself, but also make some extra cash to buy, if you know what I mean. Now obviously you wouldn't get all of the marketable weapons, so let us just assume that you will get 5 throughout your journey. Secondly, PvP weapons. Being able to unlock at level 30, PvP offers both great glamour pieces, which includes weapons and armor pieces, and also mounts on top of that. If you are unsure as to how to unlock PvP, make sure to check out my mount video after this one. For those of you who are looking for a glowy red weapon, then the Pack Liege weapons from PvP got you covered. With each of these being sold for just 1000 wolf marks, you can just run the daily frontline, which is also great for experience, for once per day, and you will be able to obtain it in under 30 minutes. If you don't care about the glow, then PvP also offers to you 7 more lineups from the wolf marks and 1 from Trophy Crystal. I would genuinely argue that some of the best non-glowy weapon comes from PvP. Similar to the marketable weapons, however, getting all is unlikely, so let us again assume that an acquisition of 5 of these weapons will take place. Number 3, a bit harder than the previous 2, and I know this may be controversial for me to say, but the ARR and Heaven Sword Relic weapons first 2 stages, and maybe Endwalker Relic. Starting with the ARR weapon, the total completion of this Relic and Weapon questline is one of the most grindy or at least annoying Relic weapon. The first 2 steps, in my opinion, really isn't that bad, however. It mainly composed of running several dungeons, ARR hard trials, slaying 24 mobs in different areas, and buying stuff from the Marketboard and with Tombstone in Bordana. While it will still take much longer than the previous 2, it shouldn't take more than 5 to 7 hours. Just know that in order to take the first quest in the line, you will need to complete the ARR MSQ and your job quest. If you wish to pursue this, I recommend this video, which also in the description. Next up, the Heaven Sword Relic is by far the easiest relic weapon to get, since a major part of it can be passively farmed out. That said, the amount of tombstone required for this is still obscene, so I genuinely wouldn't consider it an easy grind in terms of completion. However, the first 2 stages of this weapon are really not bad, especially if you are level 80 and above. The first steps requires you to farm 6 crystals from doing fates in different areas. These have a pretty bad drop rate, and in my case scenario, it took around like 2 hours to get all 6. Then for step 2, you need to complete 10 dungeons in a specific order while equipping the weapon you obtained from step 1. This sounds like a lot, I know, but it really isn't bad when you consider the fact that you can fly through these dungeons if you are level 80 plus. On an average, it shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes to farm one of these dungeons, and given all 10 dungeons combined, it shouldn't take more than 1 hour to 1 hour 30 minutes to complete all of them. Thirdly, the reason why I said maybe regarding to the Endwalker Relic is because if you have not completed the entirety of the Manderville questline pre-Endwalker, then you will at least be in there for 2 to 3 days on a casual farming basis. Nevertheless, if you have completed all the quests, then right now patch 6.4 is the best time to farm this relic. To complete these 2 stages, you will need 3k of this tombstone. Let us assume that you do the newest dungeon once per day plus 1 expert daily roulette, then you are looking at around like 2 weeks to complete these 2 stages. Moving on to number 4, if you say you don't wish to waste all that tombstone to relic because you either don't like the design or time required, then you may wish to look into some elegant tombstone weapons. With the release of 6.4, all of Endwalker's tombstone weapons have been released, and counting across the board, you will have 6 lineups of tombstone to choose from, with the exception of the latest 2 from from Endwalker, all others can be purchased through the Elegant Tombstone of Poetics, which you should have plenty of if you're doing the daily roulettes. Even if you are not doing the daily roulettes, just by doing one main scenario quest, which is around 30 to 40 minutes give or take for 2 days with nothing else, you will already have enough to buy one such weapon. Obviously, there are more efficient ways in farming these, but this video solely focuses on the laziest method of obtaining these weapons. The two from Endwalker requires the Tombstone of Causity and Comedy, with the later one having a hard limit of 450 per week plus the requirement of a hermetic tombstone which can be exchanged for through 7-ounce sound blade of Anabasos that can be obtained once per week. This can be a long grind, especially if you have more than one weapon that you wish to get, but it does come with the perk of patch relevancy. If you do wish to farm these, then the laziest way to do so is to just do the 12 circles once per week and 1 expert roulette once per day. From this category, let us assume that you will eventually get 5. Next up, as a bonus, we have the raid weapons, or more specifically from the Alexander Gordier Savage and the Alexander the Creator Savage. These are bonuses because I have already mentioned them in my month videos in detail. With that, this video concludes. I am very certain that there are more easy weapons to be farmed for in this game, but these are just the ones that is on top of my mind. Let me and others know your recommendations in the comment section below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or sub. Thank you so much for watching, and peace.